again. So this particular key is a major interest for me. If you followed me for a while, you would know that I'm very passionate about this one, and it's a major key for financial success. In fact, I feel like the whole system today is designed to not make you financially successful. So if you're going to achieve financial success, please take this particular lesson very seriously. And it's about money, an enemy. It's interesting how that money, which should be something that empowers you, can become the enemy in your life. It becomes something that begins to work against you, something that wants to kill you, something that gives you depression or makes you depressed, something that you think about and you are sad all of the time. How do we get to that point? How does that happen? Is when you make money an enemy. And this is all about the concept of living in debt. The goal is for you to be debt-free. I'm excited for you if you're in this class and you have debt. It's a pointer to the fact that you want to change things. And so I look forward to your results because I know you will have one. Remember, it's money makeover. We're changing everything. We're aligning with what it should be. And so we'll be looking at debt-free living. How not to make money an enemy. Something that should be a blessing then becomes like a curse. I've seen people that ran out of Abuja relocated fully because of this enemy. I've seen people who lost their marriage because of this enemy. So this particular topic of money and enemy is very major. In our world today, you are told to get it now. Buy it now. You can get it now. Everything seems to be about instant gratification as opposed to the foundational principle of wealth that says delay gratification. So this is how I know that the whole system of quick loans and consumer loans and all of them is not designed to make you prosper because they go counter the principles of wealth. Am I against loans at all? There is the concept of good debt, and I know you may have those questions. When we come to the live session, I'll be able to drill further into what I'm saying. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to focus on reasons why you should avoid debt and why you should come out of it if you're already in debt. Everywhere you turn today, people are drowning in debt. They call it leverage. But I'd like to read to you a quote by one of the wealthiest men in the world, Warren Buffett. He says, "I've seen more people fail because of liquor and leverage." Now, leverage being borrowed money. I've seen more people fail because of borrowed money. You really don't need leverage in this world. If you're smart, you're going to make a lot of money without borrowing. Warren Buffett, the wealthiest man in the world. So every time you get into debt, you sacrifice the future for temporary pleasure. I love the way Pastor Kenneth Copeland defined what investment is and what debt is. Debt is you living today at the expense of the future. Investment is what you do today in favor of the future. Simple. So every decision you're making with those loans and debt you're getting into, the question I have for you is it at the expense of the future or in favor of the future? Because if it isn't, it's bad. It's disaster, financial disaster. And we don't want to be there. Whether you're a business person or an individual, same thing applies. Do you know that people ask me a lot, this good debt concept, but it's good to take loan for businesses. Well, maybe for the small business owners, a lot of them reach out to me via DM, private messages. I haven't seen any of them who took loans and are doing well. Do you know why? They take those loans at the wrong time. Even in business, when you need to take a loan, there's a timing for it. You don't take loans when business is bad. You take loans when business is good. When you've tested the waters and you can see that this thing is working and money is coming in, then you go ahead to say, you know what, we can scale this. Let's open an office in Lagos. you can take a loan for that because you know that it works. Even then, we still do it with caution. Even then, the bank will still ask you for collateral. Why? Because it could fail. Remember, Warren Buffett says, I've seen more people fail because of leverage. Leverage being borrowed money. More people have failed because of it. And I can concur to that because more businesses have failed because of leverage, borrowed money, than if they had bootstrapped their way through for many years. That business may have survived. Is it easy? No. So every time you get into debt, you're sacrificing something. The future. The question is, will your future you give you a high five with excitement when he meets you, or hate you for life for the things you did at its own expense? You know, people always say, dress like where you're going, dress like your future. But I say, dress like your future, but not at the expense of your future, because it can be a disaster. So what is debt? I just want this thing now. I don't have the money, and so I'm taking a loan for it. Now, understand me. The whole banking system is designed with that in mind. All the monies they collect from you, they give it to somebody else as in form of loans, right? That's how they make money, apart from the fact that there's a spread income they can earn on it, on the deposits that you make with the bank. They give money out. So the banking started from, oh, I have money you don't have. Let's come be the go-between, and then we take money from those who have and give it to those who don't have. Simple. So I'm not completely against loaning because I'm a bank owner in the making. I'm not completely against it. But what are you using it to do? Buy phones, something that you could have saved up for and learned the principle of wealth building, delayed gratification. Do you know where the principle of delayed gratification comes from? It's from the law of time perspective. That law states that successful people are those who take the longest time perspective into decisions. What does it mean? Successful people in anything, any venture, raising their kids, marriage, whatever it is, are those who think long term. What does it mean? It means that they delay gratification today for tomorrow. They wait. If they give me 1 million and they give you 1 million and I buy shoes with it and you go ahead to invest it, I'm going to step out tomorrow looking all glammed up and like I'm just coming out of GQ, but you may look the same and all that, but you're richer than me. Why? Because your money has gone into assets than liabilities, as against liabilities on my end. I always describe to people the liability and asset column. What rich people do is they build the liability, the asset column higher than the liability column, if they have at all. It is important for you to know that that ability to delay gratification is a principle for wealth building. So anything that tells you don't wait anymore, get it now, wants you to be poor. And you must avoid it by all means. So why do people get into debt? Number one, lack of financial planning. If you don't determine things ahead of time, you will not have money to do them when they come up, and you will need to borrow. Like your rent, you wait till August and it's due in September. What magic do you think will happen? You have to borrow money. Your children's school fees is not due and it's almost exam time. The school has given you opportunity to pay, but you just don't have it because you didn't realize that $500,000 or that 3 million is supposed to be divided into every month if you earn monthly. If you earn weekly, it should be divided into every week. You know a certain amount you must put aside towards rent. I work with some people, widows and all those kind of people that with NGOs, I go to train them for free as part of our corporate social responsibility, and I'm talking with them. I don't go there and I'm petting them or I'm pitying them. Not because I'm mean, but I understand. Remember the first key we taught, money is an outcome. They are not broke because their husband died. Did it affect them? Oh yes, because it happened suddenly. But if they continue like that, it's not because of that. They are not doing something right. There's a way money comes. Even the husband that gave them all the money had to do something for the money to come. There was an input from him that brought money to him. So I can understand, oh yeah, it's sudden, I wasn't prepared for it, oh yeah. But when they've empowered you with a skill and you still want them to continue to feed your family, there's a problem. So they have empowered them, this particular set, And they were making money, 7,000 this week, 5,000 next week, and all that. And they still came for that training and was telling me things like, we can't pay rent. And you know, the school fees, 4 children, and I get to all sorts of things. And they wanted me to pity them, but I was seeing their lack of financial wisdom in their conversation. I could see the gap was financial education. So I told them, you know what? I'm not here to come and pat you on the back and say sorry. My assignment is to get you free and empower you really, really. So let's do some calculations together. How much is rent? At the time, 50,000 per annum. Great. 50,000 per annum divided by 12 is not up to 5,000 in a month. And you earn 10,000 sometimes in a week. 7,000 in a week times 4. That's 35,000. Even if it's 5,000 times 4, that's 20,000. But your rent is just 5,000 in a month, and you can't set it aside. You know, the moment I start to make practical things for them, do you know that rent, you can save 1,000 every day from your sales, and rent to be sorted. We brought again children. I said, even if you have 4 children, I've sponsored people in government schools before. They pay 4,900. Even if you have 4 children, every quarter, 4,900 per person. Let's say 5,000 times 4. That's 20,000 in 3 months. Are you telling me you can't put money in an account and have that money? You know, the moment we started talking all these things, wow, they were opened up and all of that. Because at the bank, we opened all these critical mass accounts. And before long, you see someone come to put 1,000, 2,000. This woman frying yam and akara beside the office. That person selling fruits to people in the morning. That person cooking indomie in the corner. They come in and pay 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. And before you know it, they had hundreds of thousands in their accounts. More money than even the bankers themselves. More money in the account than any banker. Yet, because they focus more on their circumstance than the reality of things, and they think, oh, that's why I'm broke. No, it's not the reason. That kind of a person, when they don't save like that, they now go and borrow money, and the poverty in the family continues to run from generation to generation, continues as if there is no God somewhere. Just because we don't know that. In fact, some of them told me, say, wow, that they didn't even know they can go and put 1,000 in the bank, 2,000 in the bank. Even if you can't go to the bank, what about your normal thrift that comes to your place to collect it? POS is beside you, you can use to transfer the 1,000. A lot of times, people get into debt because of lack of financial planning. Another thing is neglecting savings and investments. If you don't have savings, you will borrow now. You've not seen a life and death situation. You will borrow without thinking of the consequences. The comparison trap is another reason. People compare themselves a lot. Ah, see that lady, that celebrity, her suit. I'm going to share my story at this point. When I joined the bank, I was put under a particular unit head. She was an assistant manager. I was an executive assistant. Entry level, first level of the bank was executive assistant at the time. And so, but she dressed so well. Like, you can't find her suits, 2 of it in town. You can't. She dressed so good. So it was unique. I wanted her life. But I didn't know that I had to wait to be an assistant manager at least to have that life. I wanted it now. Of course, I went to her and she liked me a lot. She was my unit head, so she was very nice. Oh, she said, oh, I'll get them for you, but you pay me in installments. That was the beginning. I was buying suits. My salary was 90,000. I was buying suits of 60,000 just because I compared myself with an assistant manager. Guess what? He doesn't even carry weights yet until I tell you the kind of assistant manager she was. She was an assistant manager, and her husband was a 5th-time legislator in Abuja at the time. He was running for House of Representatives for the 5th time he was in the House. 5th time. So you want to understand me that my parents are just regular people. Comparing myself with someone with such level of access. So many times we compare based on wrong parameters. There was no basis for comparison. We were not at the same level by all standard. But as I stepped in, that was the beginning of the problem. So be careful not to compare. I always say that when you compare, if you're not a content person, you will compare yourself with others. No wonder the Bible says that contentment is great gain. It's a financial term. It's like profits. That's what they're saying. When you're a content person, rather, you gain from it. It's profit to you. Because no pressure. I don't want to look like you. I will stay within my budget. I don't want to keep up with the Joneses here. I don't want to spend money on things that I don't like just to impress people who don't even like me. I don't want to do that. When you are a content person, you don't compare yourself. Guess what? If you don't compare yourself, there is no basis for competition. And when there is no competition, I will not spend money that I didn't budget for and I don't have. No basis for it. So be content. Don't fall into the comparison trap. Another reason people get into debt is personal indiscipline and insecurities. Personal indiscipline and insecurities. I remember when I was a student. My allowance at the time was just 3K per month. But I had this breakout that embarrassed me a lot. I didn't like it. So as I'm landing in Kwara State, then in Ilori, in Nigeria, I'm heading for the supermarket with that allowance my dad gave me. I will literally go to that store and buy all sorts of products I'll be using on my face. How did I survive? It's a story for another day. I don't want to share that here. But truthfully, our personal insecurities can make us spend more than we earn. Because to get into debt is to spend more than you earn. Where is the extra coming from if you've not earned it? It's from debts and loans, right? So it makes us spend more than we earn. Guess what? It's not going to stop. Because you did something on the external. You bought products and you used it. You went to do maybe all the liposuction and all sorts of things. You added extra bum, boobs, whatever it is you're spending money on. Make sure, if you can afford to do it, fine. But make sure that you fix the inside first. Because you will keep spending like that. I tell you the truth, you will spend and spend just to earn that self-esteem and you will never get it. The problem is not an external thing, it's an internal problem. You don't like the way your face looks, you don't like the way your body shape is, or whatever it is. Fix inside first before the outside. So that when you do the outside, it will count, it will be valuable for you. If you don't, it will just be a spending pattern that could lead you into a lot of disaster and mess. So how does money become an enemy? Is what I already shared with you. You are spending what you've not earned because the system says you can get it now. You know, people buy phones and I've related with a lot of them. So I'm talking from practical experience here. This course is not coming when I started out first week or first year. This is 7 years counting. I've had sessions with a lot of people. People buy phone on credit. And because it is on credit, the company still has access to the phone. They buy those phones and they can't pay back. Because in fact, why are you buying a phone that will not earn you money, bigger than your income? So they can't pay back. What happens? The company takes the phone back, they block them off, they can't do anything with the phone, it becomes useless. Guess what they started doing? They will go and sell the phone. But now, before you sell phone to anybody now, what do? They check to make sure that it's not an encumbered phone. Oh my God, the bank doesn't have a hold on it. So we need to watch out for these loan trends. Quick loans, consumer loans, you need to watch out for them. Because it is here to stay. In 2022 or so, when we had a particular webinar on this, and I said, you know what? It's not going to be better that there won't be loans. I said it will be quicker. Right now, it's quicker. You get loans like on your commute from work to the house, you can get a loan sharply. There's a client that was coming to my office one day And on her commute, she applied for a loan. And when she got to the office, she showed me the alert for the loan. They already credited it. They are like that. They are that savage. Right now, you have an investment with a particular bank, and they want you to take a loan against it. And they are bombarding your phone every time. You qualify for this. You qualify for this. It's a committed venture. Why? Because they make a lot of money from it. If you do the law of 72 simply, you will know exactly how fast it is for the bank to double the money they give you, depending on the rate. If it's 72, if they give you the loan at 40%, 72 divided by 40 comes to about 1.5 years. That's how fast they double the money they give to you. Guess what? You can use the reverse for investment. If you want to double your money, get your investment at really high risk interest. Of course, high interest means higher rate of loss. So you need to be careful with the decisions you make. So what are the dangers of debt? It can affect your health. First of all, starts with anger. When the person is calling, you're angry. You first of all start to lie. You pick, you lie. I'm in Sokoto, blah, 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 blah. The next minute, it goes to anger. After anger, you have another one, depression. You get home and you're like, I beg, your child is greeting, you're angry. They come, they run to you, you push them away. You are getting depressed. Before you know it, it enters into depression. Now, you're depressed and then you start falling sick because depression will bring you sicknesses of all sorts. So there are dangers to this thing. Let's avoid it. I've seen people who ran out of Abuja because of debt. Guess what? I've seen savage loan companies in their bid to recoup their loans, they publish people's obituary live and direct. They just publish that the person has died. A recent client who had a one-on-one money makeover session told me how her brother-in-law was published as a rapist or something. They can do anything. They said they couldn't show it to the sister because it was a bad one. Her husband had taken a loan, she didn't know. Of course, they start reaching out to the contacts first of all. They send you threat messages. It gives you heart palpitation all the time. It can affect your health. It can lead to high blood pressure. So let's avoid it. Now, if you're in debt or anything, we're going to review in the Sunday live session on this particular topic the steps to come out of debt. We're going to make it practical, but please make sure that you're ready to walk through the process. But before I close today, I'd like to talk about the single most important key for you to be debt-free. It's what I call a quality decision. Are you tired of where you are? Do you feel frustrated enough? Do you know that that's how I started the process of getting out? I had to talk to here. I was in a pile of debts. My salary was nothing to me. From 33,000 to 90,000 to all the increments to 500,000. Still broke. I was stressed out. You have to be looking at the pile of checks. It was so bad that the bank had to say, you know what? Any staff that issues a bounced check again will be fired. So we moved from check to transfer. You had a pile of checks, you'll be checking. Oga Shegere, you cannot go. Oga this, you cannot go, please. Next week you come. Next month you will come. Sorry, I know fit. You have nothing left after it. That's where I was. So what got me out? A quality decision. Quality that, you know what, I don't tire. Do you know, research has it that humans, until we get to frustrated moments, we don't change certain habits. But I don't want you to wait for that time. If you have any debt, please make sure you're at the live session. Let's walk the steps out because it's going to be a very practical session. You must make that quality decision. It's a bulldog determination that, you know what, I am ready. I am tired of being tired. I'm done with this lifestyle. I want to change. Once you have that decision in place, those 4 steps that we'll be discussing on Sunday will be very easy to do. So thanks for taking our time to study this particular week's session. We'll see you on Sunday evening.